Hi, I'm Dustin Berg with Pro AV School. In this video, I'm going to show Crestron programmers how you can use Visual Studio Code and a Crestron extension to compile and edit Simple Plus programs instead of using the awful Crestron Simple Plus editor that's a bit dated. So let's follow along here and I'll show you how it's done. First thing I'm going to do is search for Visual Studio Code download. And I'm going to download it for Windows since that's my system. Just give it a couple seconds here. It's not too big of a file. All right. So I'm going to open this up. And I'll just drag this over here into this window. Accept the agreement, which you should probably read through thoroughly. I usually do sometimes. Next, I'll just install in the default location. And you want to pay attention here. Create a desktop icon if you wish, but these other ones, add open with code to Windows File Explorer context menu, and add open with code to Windows Explorer directory context menu. So what that is if I have a directory here with a bunch of programs in it, I can right click, and in the context menu, I can open it with Visual Studio Code. I don't have it installed right now, so obviously that option isn't there, but that will show up. So I definitely want that. It makes it easier to work with. So I'm going to click these two options, go next, and then install. All right, I'm not going to launch Visual Studio Code from here yet. I'm going to use that context menu. I'm going to go into my documents, and I'm going to open this, and this is the new one. So you note here, open with Visual Studio and open with code. Visual Studio is a development environment for compiling C# and C++ and all sorts of different things on Windows. That's not what we're talking about here. I already have that installed for my Simple Sharp development. Note that that's for 4 series only. For the earlier ones, you need to use Visual Studio 2008. It's a totally different concept, different video. What I'm talking about here, though, is open with code. Sometimes Visual Studio Code is just called code. So we want to open it with code. That will launch Visual Studio Code. And I'm just going to drag this over onto this window. Maximize it. And you'll see, trust the authors. Okay, do I trust the authors of the files in this folder? Yes, I do. It's on my computer, developed by me, so I'm fine with that. The dark modern theme, sure, that's just a theme. Visual Studio Code has kind of these main navigation windows or navigation panes. The top one is your open files, and I'm just going to look at a USP file here. Notice here that it's all just plain boring text, and it's actually given us a suggestion that the marketplace has extensions, and we definitely are going to install an extension, but I'm not going to do it this way because I can't guarantee that that's going to show up for you. So what I'm going to do is go to the extensions and search extensions in the marketplace, and I'm just going to type Crestron, and this is going out to the repository for Visual Studio Code registered extensions. And the top one here is the one we want because it also includes it's the latest one, and it has stuff for 4 series as well as 3 series. It's developed not by Crestron. Eric Walters is an independent programmer, or I'm not sure if who he works for. I don't know him personally, but I've seen some of his work before, and I know there's a number of other guys that work on this repository as well. It's actually on GitHub, but you don't need to worry about all that. All you need to do is click there, click install. So it will install the extension, and then you need to go to the settings because it says here You must enable or disable the platforms you wish to compile for in the settings. By default, only 3 series is enabled. So I'm going to go Settings, Extension Settings. Now you could also get there from going to Extensions and then click the gear icon there. So I need to enable it for 4 series. So that's good. Now if I go back to my File Explorer and I go to my USP file, you'll notice that in the bottom corner here, it has automatically detected the format as Crestron S+. That's coming from the extension basically. So this gives you highlighting of, or different colors for different parts of things. They also have this Open S+ help reference. So providing you installed it in the default, providing you had Simple Plus already installed in the default folder, then it was able to find this. Now I should also note you do have to have Crestron Simple Plus installed. It doesn't actually have the compiler. It links to it. It basically runs it in sort of a batch script or a console script. So now I'm just going to compile this basic Simple Plus program. Control-Shift-B and Crestron compile for 3 and 4 series. And it goes through and executes the task. And we just have to wait for it to finish here. And it gave us 0 warnings, 0 warnings. So you have to press a button. Terminal will be reused. Press any key to close it. So press a button to close it. And it has gone ahead and compiled this. So now if you were to open it in a simple program, you would be able to use this USP file. So I just want to keep this tutorial very basic. I'm not going to go into how it actually gets implemented. It's basically, now it's a Simple Plus. It's the same thing as opening it up in the Simple Plus editor itself, which I guess for clarity I should do that as well. Let's just do that here. Actually, I'm just going to launch Simple Plus on its own. Just opening in another window here. So I've got this. I can go open. And one interesting thing about Windows that I found that I didn't know for the longest time, if I click in here, I can get the full path, Control-C and copy it. Then in here, I can do the full path, Control-V to get there. So that saves a lot of time. But that's the same as this. Now I've changed, I don't know if I changed some of my colors or if these are the defaults. But it's basically, it's the same thing as opening this and selecting 3 and 4 and then pressing F12 and compiling it. So this basically shows you a way on how you can use Visual Studio Code to compile your Crestron Simple Plus projects. And that basically creates a module that you can use in your simple Windows programs. I use it a lot for wrappers for simple Sharp programs. That makes it a lot slicker to work with than this kind of dated application. So if you like this video and like this content, hit the like button. Any comments that you leave, I see them all and I try to respond as I can. Please subscribe to the channel so you get notified when new content is released, and we'll see you in the next video.